I'll tell you this. This is going to surprise you. I like Baltimore this week. I'll lay the number with Baltimore.
All
I
right,
don't
hang
think.
on a minute. Hang on a minute.
Wait, we
Uh,
got it. We're doing a highlight on that one.
we're gonna do a highlight on it because we're on opposite
All right.
sides here. So we're gonna do
All right.
an,
Let's
an,
do it.
an impromptu highlight video here for the NFL on ATS Radio. I'm host Adam Burke. That's professional bettor and handicapper Brad Powers. Talking about game 281, 282, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Baltimore, 3.5, pretty much the number market wide, 46.5 the total here. And we're going to have a difference of opinion on this one. So we'll start with the smarter of the two of us in Brad Powers.
Oh, I don't know about that when it comes to the NFL. You're kicking my ass this year. But I here's what I'll say. I I like looking at look ahead lines. Look ahead line, maybe it was dead off on this one, had Baltimore 6. Okay, Pittsburgh won, was impressive. Upgrade them. What did Baltimore do? They were sitting at home eating cheeseburgers. They're on a bye. And speaking on a bye, Harbaugh coming off a bye has been damn good. I mean, he's 12-3 straight up. He's 10-5 against the spread coming off a bye. That's even counting a couple of disappointing playoff performances. He's even better when it's a regular season. Here's what I'm playing it. I know a lot of people are going to say, hey, Pittsburgh's going to play the disrespect card because they're unbeaten and it's a rivalry game. It's been an unbelievably close series. It is the best rivalry in the last 20 years in the NFL, and it's been remarkably consistently close. To me, I think there's a little bit higher variance because of Lamar Jackson. And for me, it's how many times can Pittsburgh, be up? I mean, you saw them play Philly. I mean, that's a game that is very important for in-state. Then they smashed the Browns to make sure to squash that. Very good performance by Pittsburgh. Last week in the Battle of Unbeatens, they get up early and then they have to hold on for dear life against Tennessee. Meanwhile, Baltimore, again, sitting at home last week. I just think effort from Baltimore. They're not as good as last year, but I agree with more the look at line. I made it 6. Ravens were my favorite play of the week as far as sides.
All right, so we're opposite this one. We'll have to do
Give
another
it
one
to
of our
me.
dinner bets where you owe me about 12 of those already. I like Pittsburgh here. And, the thing about Pittsburgh is, as you said, how many times can they keep getting back up? And I think it's a fair argument to make, but they keep doing it. And I think that, this illustrates Mike Tomlin and how good of a head coach he is, even though there were some people a couple of years ago that wanted him fired. And, I have no idea why. But when I look at how this Pittsburgh defense specifically is comprised, it was built with one objective in mind: to defend Lamar Jackson and stop Baltimore. Think about the team speed that this Pittsburgh defense has. Think about the blitzing that they're able to do because they trust their corners enough in single coverage. They want to be able to stop Lamar Jackson. And last year in the game Lamar Jackson played, 3 interceptions, 3.8 yards per play for the Ravens. Again, only one data point, so I don't want to overreact too much to that one game, but it was pretty clear that Pittsburgh had the right game plan, did make Lamar Jackson uncomfortable. Jackson's not running as much this year. He's trying not to unless he absolutely has to. And maybe he pulls that weapon out of the bag this week, and maybe it is something that does help Baltimore to this win and cover. But there's something that hasn't looked right about the Ravens here so far. Maybe they figure it out off the bye. Maybe they don't. Jackson said he got together with his wide receivers and they worked on some different things. I just think Pittsburgh is a really, really, really good team. It is not a fluke that they've gotten to where they are. And I think getting the hook here with 3.5 is something that could come into play. I will take Pittsburgh here in this one.
You can get better than the hook. You probably get 4, buddy.
Yeah, I probably could. I probably won't get 4 in the circa. I mean, maybe. But I'm telling you, man. And again, I understand what you're saying about the look ahead line, and I totally agree. I think it's also interesting, too. A game we talked about a lot with Brian Blessing on the show here. The look ahead line for Tampa Bay and Las Vegas was pick. Then all of a sudden it goes to 3. What did Vegas do wrong? Nothing. They got COVID after the line move happened. They had beaten Kansas City outright the week before. It was just that they hadn't played. So I understand what you're saying about the line movement, and I agree with where it is.
Gruden's not good off a bye. He's kind of lackadaisical. Hey, give the guys, a week off. Harbaugh isn't that guy to me. That's why. And Cal Sports had a good trend. Home teams coming off a bye are very poor, like 45% against the spread. They get overvalued in the market because everyone wants to play on the home team off a bye. That's why I specifically isolated Harbaugh. Belichick's still good. A lot of the elite head coaches are still great off a bye because they're not lackadaisical and giving players the week or so off, and they're not butting them. Harbaugh's the type of guy that's butting them, especially when it was this game that was coming off the bye. So good difference of opinion. A lot of difference of opinion. Some of the sharpest guys I know are on the Pittsburgh side. I know a couple guys that I really respect are also on the Baltimore side. I think you're going to get a lot of two-way action on this one.
The one thing I will say that I think you and I can both agree with, if Andy Dalton plays for Dallas on November 8th, you probably have to take Dallas against Pittsburgh, right? Because if they're going to fall flat, third straight road game's probably the one off of, so many big games in a row. Hard bet to make, but I think it's probably the right one.
Yeah, very tough.
I think.
To make. We'll see with Dallas. I don't know, man. They might have waved the white flag. The fact they really didn't rush to pick up Dalton when it was a dirty, cheap shot. I mean, typically when you see something like that, the players, if they're all in, I mean, they go take a shot at one of the football, the Washington team's players. Don't they get up and shove them at least? You didn't even see it. They're just looking around, looking at a helpless Andy Dalton laying there on the ground. I don't like anything I'm seeing from Dallas.
That's fair. But we got a difference of opinion here on Pittsburgh and Baltimore. Dinner bet for sure here on ATS Radio. Make sure you subscribe to the full editions of ATS Radio, Spreaker, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, wherever you stream and download your podcast content.